A lot of people only start paying attention to their joints only when the pain becomes severe. Emphasis on severe. If the pain is not severe enough, they overlook when their knees start becoming stiff, or maybe when they are told that they have arthritis. But the truth is, before arthritis will be obvious, the body will give subtle signs, subtle warning signs. And if you understand those early signs, you may be able to take actions even before serious joint damage happens. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, you're welcome. My name is Uchechi Chizendu and I'm a clinical physiologist. Here we make educational health content. This channel is majorly for educational purposes. So do well to subscribe and hit the plus sign so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be notified. Now let's get into the subject matter of today, inflammation. Now before we talk about the 5 subtle signs of inflammation, let's first understand something very important. Inflammation is actually not always a bad thing. In fact, inflammation is one of the body's natural defense mechanisms. It is a part of your immune response. Whenever your body detects something harmful, it could be infection, it could be injury, whether big or small injury or even small cuts. It could be even toxin or maybe poison or maybe tissue damage. Anything that is harmful, once your body detects it, the immune system sends signals that activate inflammations. Think of inflammation as a way of your body sending emergency responder to a problem area. Blood flow increases to that area and immune cells rushes in. In that process, chemicals are released to fight infection and to begin the healing process. That is why you often see the classic signs of inflammation, which include redness. Now, redness will occur, sometimes redness do occur that area that you have that injury, or maybe you have infection. Swelling, you experience swelling, that area inflammation occurs. Pains, sometimes experience pains or even heat. Now, for example, if you cut your finger or maybe any part of your body, after a few minutes you start noticing swelling around that area and redness, and sometimes you feel pains. That is inflammation working to repair the damaged tissues. So inflammation is one of the body's natural defense mechanisms. It's a way of your immune system responding to something that is harmful. The problem starts when inflammation does not turn off. After tissue repair, after the body has healed itself, inflammation is supposed to stop, right? When inflammation does not stop, that is where the issue lies. Now we have 2 types of inflammation: acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is short-term. It happens suddenly and usually goes away once the body heals. That's it resolves once the body heals, once the tissues are repaired. This acute form of inflammation is stopped. So inflammation is not entirely a bad thing. For instance, when you have a sprained ankle and you notice that that area is swollen, or maybe you have a cut or a short-term infection, your immune system responds quickly and fixes the issue. Now for chronic inflammation, in fact this one is an issue because it is different. This type of inflammation is long-term. It can continue for months, it can even continue for years. Instead of helping the body heal, it begins to damage healthy tissues. Chronic inflammation can be triggered by things like persistent infection, autoimmune disease like systematic lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. Now if you have obesity can trigger chronic inflammation. If you are the type that takes sugar, maybe you are very high on sugar diet, it can trigger inflammation also. Poor diet, you don't take balanced diet or you don't balance your meat very well, all this can trigger inflammation. If you have gut imbalance, I spoke about this and gut microbiomes, I think one of my videos in my channel, so you can look out for it. If you have gut imbalance, it can trigger inflammation. And if you are the type that always stress yourself, long-time stress can trigger chronic inflammation. When chronic inflammation targets the joint, it eventually leads to arthritis. Now we need to understand something. Chronic inflammation is actually a problem. It does not only affect your joints and cause arthritis, it can actually harm your reproductive system. It can cause infertility. For this video, I'm going to focus more on the joints. Now listen up, this is how inflammation leads to arthritis. Inside every joint in the body, there is a protective tissue called the cartilage. Cartilage acts like a cushion between bones. It allows your bones to move freely, smoothly, without rubbing each other. But when inflammation becomes chronic, the immune system starts releasing inflammatory chemicals. Now, these chemicals can damage cartilage. It can irritate the lining of the joint, causing swelling inside the joint space. Over time or over the years, this swelling can cause the cartilage to wear out. When cartilage starts to wear out and becomes thin or damaged, the bones start to rub against each other. That rubbing against each other is what brings about that pain normally experienced in arthritis. Damage to the cartilage causes the bones to come in contact with each other during movement. Now, when that happens, it causes pain and stiffness. That condition is what we call arthritis. Now, before arthritis becomes severe and obvious, the body usually gives subtle warning signs. Now, let's talk about some of these early warning signs of arthritis. And number one is morning joint stiffness. One of the earliest signs of joint inflammation is morning stiffness. You may wake up and feel that your finger feels stiff, your knees are tight, or maybe your hips, you feel difficulty to move them. But after you start moving around for a few minutes, notice that the stiffness around your finger or maybe your nails or your hips improves. This happens because inflammatory fluids accumulate in the joints during rest. Notice in the morning that once you start moving around your house, circulation improves and that stiffness gradually reduces. Many people ignore these signs thinking that it's just normal aging. But persistent morning stiffness can be an early indicator of joint inflammation. Another subtle sign is mild swelling around the joint. Sometimes the swelling is not even dramatic, just mild, and many people overlook it since it's not something huge. You may simply notice that the ring around your finger seems a little bit tighter, or your knees looking a little bit puffy, a little bit swollen. What is happening is that inflammation causes a little bit of fluid buildup inside those joint tissues. The swelling may come and go, especially after physical activity. But if this swelling keeps reoccurring, keeps returning, it may be a sign that inflammation is already affecting the joint structure. And next is warm around the joints. Now listen up, inflamed joints usually feel warmer. It feels warmer than the surrounding skin. This happens because inflammation increases blood flow to the affected area. Sometimes people notice that one knee feels warmer than the other. It may not be very obvious, but feeling warm may be around a particular part of your body and the other area of your body is not that warm. It's one of the classic signs of inflammation. And number 4 sign is reduced motion. Now, if you notice that your joint does not move freely like the way you used to move. For instance, your knees feel tired, you easily feel tired after standing, not for long, just a short time, or even your fingers feel tired when you want to grip something, when you want to touch an object or carry something. You suddenly feel weakness in your joint, in your fingers. Your joint feels uncomfortable after small movements. Maybe you take a little bit of distance and you feel pains. Inflammation places stress on your joint tissues, making them less efficient. Over time, this can make the joint feel fatigued more quickly than normal. That is why you should pay attention to all these signs. The problem with joint inflammation is that it starts quietly. Many people seek help only when the problem has progressed to severe arthritis. Now listen, if inflammation is addressed early, you may be able to slow or prevent further joint damage. That is why paying attention to all these early signs of joint inflammation is very, very important. Joint fatigue and weakness, reduced range of motion due to bones coming in contact with each other during movement, warm around the joint due to inflammation, mild swelling around the joint, and morning stiffness, that's morning joint stiffness. If you notice any of these signs, then you know that something is wrong with your joints. Inflammation is a natural and essential immune response. It helps the body fight infections and repair tissues. But when inflammation becomes chronic, it starts damaging healthy tissues, including your joints. Over time, this damage can lead to arthritis. Now, let's get something clear. Inflammation does not only affect your joints. In fact, it affects your entire body, including your reproductive organs, your reproductive system. Inflammation can cause infertility. Now, that is how chronic inflammation is very, very serious. If you notice any of these symptoms, morning stiffness, mind swelling, reduced flexibility, and joint fatigue, if any of these symptoms persist, you may want to see your healthcare professional. Make sure to talk to your healthcare providers to investigate further. Don't just ignore any of these signs or symptoms, because when it comes to joint health, early awareness can actually make a huge difference. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Bye.